In this video, I am going to share with you a step-by-step pattern for making this cute star-shaped amigurumi finger puppet. So let's get started. Hey guys, welcome to DIYKraftZ. So for this, I am using a cotton 4-ply yarn along with a crochet hook of size 3 mm. Begin with a magic ring and then make chain 1 to secure the magic ring. Now let's start making the first row. Into the center, make 10 single crochet stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now once the 10 stitches are done, close the magic ring and now into the next stitch make an increase. That means 2 single crochet stitches into the same stitch. Now put a stitch marker into the first chain, the first stitch to mark the beginning of the second row. Now in the second row, make increase throughout the row, which means we have to make 2 single crochet stitches in each and every stitch throughout the row. So by the end of the second row, you will have 20 single crochet stitches. So here I am making the last increase of the second row. So by the end of this row, you will have 20 single crochet stitches. Close the magic ring tightly so there won't be any gap at the center. Now remove the stitch marker and let's start making the third row. Make 1 single stitch onto the top of the stitch and then pull the stitch marker back in place to mark the beginning of third row. Now into the next stitch, make 1 increase. Now we are going to repeat this pattern of 1 single stitch and 1 increase throughout the row. Just 1 single stitch and 1 increase throughout the row until you reach the starting point. Now I am making the last increase of the third row. So this completes your third row and you will have total of 30 single crochet stitches. Now remove the stitch marker and make 1 single stitch into the next stitch. Put the stitch marker back in place to mark the beginning of fourth row. Now for the fourth row, make 1 single stitch into the next stitch and then into the next stitch make an increase. So we are going to repeat this pattern of 2 single stitches and increase. That's 1, this is 2, and now in the next stitch we will make an increase. Now repeat this pattern throughout the row until you reach the starting point. Now I am making the last set. That's 1, 2, and then we have 1 more stitch remaining. Make 1 increase. So by the end of the fourth row, you will have 40 single crochet stitches. The shape might be little bit different because we are making it an increase. Now repeat the same steps from row 1 to row 4 and you will have 2 pieces like this. One will be for the front side and the other will be for the back side. Now make 1 single stitch and put the stitch marker back in place. We are going to join the front and back pieces and at the same time we are going to make the petals also. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, now turn your work, hold it here and now identify the stitch where you are going to attach this on the other side. So carefully insert your needle there and into that particular stitch make 1 single stitch. So 9 will be on one side and this one will be on the second side, and then this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now before you do the ninth one, make an increase make a decrease. We have 9 on the front side and only 8 on the second side. And before you start the next row, we are going to join the last stitch of the back side and the first stitch on the front side using an invisible decrease. So carefully remove the stitch marker, make a decrease, drop the loop from both the loops, and then make a single stitch. That's an invisible decrease. And then put a stitch marker into this decrease stitch. So here on, just follow the video so that your petals will be in proper size and count. Now into the first stitch, make one single stitch, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then make a decrease. Again on the back side we are going to make 7 more single stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again remove the stitch marker and make a decrease. Now again put the stitch marker back into this place. Now for the next row we are going to make 6 single stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And then we have an invisible decrease. Next we have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now remove the stitch marker, and for the next row again begin with a decrease. Then make 5 single stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then make one decrease. Again make 5 more stitches. 2, 3, 4 and 5. And now going for the next row, again we are going to begin with a decrease. Put the stitch marker back. Now make 4 single crochet stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now make an invisible decrease. Again make 4 single stitches. That's 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now this row completes. Remove the stitch marker and let's start making the next row, again beginning with a decrease. Put the stitch marker back in place, and then for this row make 3 single crochet stitches. That's 2 and 3. Now again make one invisible decrease and make 3 more single crochet stitches. That's 1, 2 and 3. The task will become tougher while you are reaching the end, but just don't give up. It's not too difficult to complete. If you wish, you can close it here. If not, you can add one more row of decrease. I'm just trying to get the tip of the star. So put the stitch marker. Now make 2 single crochet stitches. That's 1 and 2. Again make one invisible decrease and then make the last 2 single crochet stitches. So by the end of this row you will have 6 single stitches. Now once you are done, it's almost the tip of the star. Remove the stitch marker, make a slip stitch, chain 1 and leave the tail end of approximately 4 to 5 inches, and we are going to use this tail end to close that opening on the top there. So this completes your first petal of the star, first point of the star. and then similarly you have to make 3 more points for the star, beginning again from the same stitch where you have done the 9th single crochet stitch in your previous row, and also the first single stitch on the other side. So just remember, we are going to have two stitches at the first and the last stitches in the first row. So for the second petal, insert the needle into the stitch where you have already made the single stitch. So chain 1 and make 1 single stitch into the same stitch. So if you notice, you will have 2 stitches in that particular stitch, one in the previous petal and one for the new petal. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Now count it according to your count, like you must have 9 stitches because 8 will be on the single stitch. So remove that and count the 9th stitch and insert your needle into that 9th stitch and then make 1 single stitch. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now we have to make a decrease. For that decrease, use the top loop of the stitch which we have done the first stitch in the previous petal. So this one is a little difficult to understand, but once you get the hang of it, it will be very easy. Then make a invisible decrease across these 2 stitches and put a stitch marker in that particular stitch, that decrease. So this is the first row, and now we are going to repeat the same pattern, like 7 stitches decrease, again 7 single stitches decrease, and then 6 stitches decrease, 6 stitches decrease, likewise until you reach the tip of the star. Likewise make 3 more points, and I will show the last petal, last point, how to make it as a finger puppet. Now once the 4 petals are done, if you want to make it as a amigurumi full toy, just continue to make the last petal also like the previous petals, but if you want to make it as a finger puppet, just continue to watch this. Now insert the needle into the first stitch, the last stitch of the previous petal, that will become the first stitch of the new petal. So get the yarn, decide which one will be your front part, and insert the thread only into the front part. So that's the first single stitch. Then make the second one, third, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Now for the next stitch, 9th one, insert the needle into the last stitch of the previous petal. So that's 9. Now turn your work. Make 1 single stitch at the base of the previous stitch, which will make the first stitch on the back side, and then make chain. That's chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and chain 6. Make chain 6 and skip 6 single stitches at the bottom, and then make the last 8th single stitch there. Now for the decrease, take the front loop of the previous stitch and the first loop of the front part, drop a loop and make an invisible decrease. So this will become the first row for the last point. Then make 7 single crochet stitches, that's 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Now make a decrease, then make 7 single crochet stitches over the chain. Take the top loops and then make a chain. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This completes the second row of the petal. Then for the third row, begin with the invisible decrease, and from here on the pattern remains the same. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, and then make an invisible decrease, and back side also make 6 single crochet stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and likewise continue the same pattern to form up to the tip of the star. Now once all the 5 petals are done, let's add stuffing to the star. Use this opening which we have left for the finger puppet. Stuff the toy first into the points and then stuff the center of the star. Take good amount of fiber fill, and if you wish you can take the help of a pen or a needle to poke the fiber fill into the points. Once the fiber fill is stuffed into the toy completely, so this is how the star looks like, fully embossed and fully structured shape. Now let's close the tip of the star using a tapestry needle. Take these tail ends into the tapestry needle and pass the yarn through the front loops of all the stitches on the last row, and then gently pull the thread so that the opening will be closed completely and it will give you a nice tip. Now make a last knot to secure the thread and then hide the tail end into the stuffing. You don't have to trim the threads, just poke it and leave the thread into the stuffing. Likewise, repeat the same on all the other sides as well. Once all the star points are closed and secured, this is how it looks like. Now let's add the fabric into the toy to make it as a finger puppet. Gently insert the fabric into the toy and securely join both of them together using an embroidery needle and thread. If you wish, you can add eyes and other details to make it look better, and that's it. Your beautiful starfish or a star amigurumi finger puppet is now ready. I hope you all enjoyed watching this tutorial. Do give this pattern a try and let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. See you all in the next video. Thank you for watching. Please like the video, share it and subscribe to DIYKraftZ.